you very much, Chair. Ms Silva, just a bit of housekeeping to start with. You said that you're proposing technical amendments, yet you've presented us with a very high-level submission. I wonder if is it possible for you to help the committee by perhaps going from a legislative perspective and showing us what sort of changes you think would be reasonable?
I'd be happy to take that on notice, Senator. We have definitely got a version of the workable code that we could provide to the committee.
So basically the suggestions as to what ought to be changed in the legislation in a legislative manner.
Yes, our proposal for a workable code drafted, yes.
Thank you very much. Just in relation to the experiments that you've been running over the last week or two, they seem inconsistent with the philosophy of Google to present a search that best matches the query terms of your customer. Firstly, can you tell me why it is that you've conducted those experiments? And I'd also be interested to find out whether those experiments have touched on our national broadcaster, the ABC. Have they been included in the experiment?
Senator, happy to explain. The experiments were part of our scenario planning. We are preparing, we've had this code since the 8th of December. We've seen various versions of it since July. There are a number of scenarios that we have been planning for at Google. The worst case scenario, which I've outlined, is the withdrawal of our service, something we want to avoid. We've also been planning for how we would operationalise and comply with a workable code, because that is a significant shift in our operations, getting deals done, compliance regulations, all of this we have planned for. There is an area, of course, where we have in our proposed workable code the need to understand the value between Google and news publishers, and the experiments were designed to help build out that scenario. The timing of those experiments was also, honestly forced upon us. We received a code on the 8th of December with legislation that could pass as quickly as the 15th of February. And so for us to be able to go into any sort of arbitration that would exist in our workable version of the code and the arbitration process, we needed that data and that insight to prepare. Now, I would just also like to highlight that this is a very small experiment that impacted 1% of users for each arm. So these are experiments that we run consistently to help make our product better. The purposes of these experiments was to help us prepare for a workable code solution.
Did it touch the ABC?
I would have to double check the details. My understanding is that there were several arms aimed at understanding that value between Google and news media businesses. Okay. I can take that on notice and come back.
All right. You said in your opening statement that the code, what's being proposed here, is not compatible with your search algorithm. It's not compatible with the internet. I put it to you, that's just technically not correct. It's almost like saying the government's introducing a speed limit and that's going to affect the way a car works at a technical level. Would you accept that your argument is in some sense distracting, and in the way it's distracting, it's misleading?
I absolutely reject the concept that it's misleading, Senator. We have built a business on the concept of freely linking between websites on the web, and as I explained earlier, our business model has been built on top of that. The concept of paying a very small group of website or content creators for appearing purely in our organic search results sets a dangerous precedent for us that presents unmanageable risk from a product and business model point of view.
Yes, it's a commercial precedence. It's a commercial precedence, not a technical precedence for you. I mean, there's no technical effect on the TCP/IP protocols. There's nothing that this legislation does to affect anything in any of the international working groups that deal with the internet.
No, but Senator, we would have to look at that from the fact that we would be paying a very small number of people who appear in our search results, how we would offer a product fairly, and how we would also manage the precedent that sets is a very big risk for us. Now, the ACCC itself highlighted the downside of including links and snippets as a form of payment or payment mechanism in their digital platform's initial report, the preliminary report. And the reason they cited was because it creates a perverse incentive for people to create low-quality content. And I think all of us would agree that the intent of this code is to protect and support the future of public interest journalism. When we create a system where people are incentivized to throw links up onto the internet, you create an incentive to create low-quality content, and again, as the ACCC pointed out, an incentive to republish other people's work. It creates perverse incentives. It doesn't meet the intentions of the code, so it's far from misleading.
I'm going to put it to you that this is, in actual fact, your real business. You offer customers the ability to search for everything. That's basically what Google is about. They come to you. They put a query into a search spot on your very simple-looking and very effective page, which is used to search an index that you hold of the internet, and it presents them with the highest matching response to their query. That's technically what you do, but your business model is something completely different. Your business model is about bringing people to your page so they can search everything. You know exactly what they're searching for. You've got cookies that understand what the person's about, and you narrowcast ads to them, and that's how you make money. And this is, this whole code is not about in any way breaking the internet. It's about breaking your revenue streams. It's about breaking your bank account. That's what this is about. It does not touch the internet and the way in which it works.
Senator, if I may, a couple of things I'd like to say in response to that. The vast majority of our advertising business is search. This is based on an advertiser choosing a set of keywords, so a local cafe searching local coffee near me, or a large retailer running shoes, showing an ad when someone types a query for running shoes. It's also important for me to point out that news-seeking queries do not generate revenue for Google. It's very unlikely that an advertiser would like to appear next to news content on search as opposed to a query with high commercial intent. News queries are about 1.25% of the queries that we see on our search engine. So to the extent that this code is requiring us to pay for links and snippets in search to a small group of people who participate in our search results, where it's always been the publisher's choice to appear in those results and they are the beneficiaries of valuable traffic, that is the model of search. The advertising business is very targeted. It has enabled small businesses who previously couldn't access advertising to reach audiences all over the world at a budget that they set for themselves. There is enormous benefit in being able to show up in a Google search when a consumer is searching for the product that you sell. And we see that time and time again with Australian small businesses and large businesses, that the results that they get. That is our business model.